Everybody, Rick Peterson here, Goes to 11 Media. Today we're starting a new segment. This one's going to get you guys all jazzed up. It's all caffeine oriented. And today I'm joined with a very special co-host, my wife, Paula.
Hi, everybody.
Now, we called this segment Grounds for Divorce. And a little tongue-in-cheek there. I mean, hopefully you guys are all doing well through the whole pandemic. Because we were very fortunate to speak with the owners at Spent Grounds Coffee in South Surrey, British Columbia. And they gave us a couple different coffees to try out for us. Now, Paula, you're sort of the resident coffee expert. I defaulted in my past behavior of going to a place that I call $6. And $6 was $6 every time I got a coffee, and it was always sort of consistent, but it was never what you call gourmet coffee by any means, in my opinion. I do enjoy the homemade barista coffees, and also going into like the little smaller coffee shops, guys. They produce some amazing stuff.
They do. And
you do as well. Now, the thing is that you're the first one to say that you don't do the fancy foam coffee art.
No.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. It's the coffee tastes great, and that's what really matters. So, explain to us some things that you've learned over the years about coffee that you look for and that you like.
Well, I pretty much like a coffee that tastes good, and everyone has their own preferences. Whether they like something that's a bit bitter, has a bit more sweetness in it, or citrusy, fruity, or things like chocolate, creme caramel flavors. I'm open to trying all sorts of coffee, and I will enjoy new coffee. I find that the most important thing, fresh beans. So the wonderful thing about Spent Grounds, one of the wonderful things, is that on the bottom, they actually have a roasted on date, whereas many other mainstream big brand coffees do not. They just have an expiration date. So with this, you can take a look. This one says May 4th, freaking fresh. I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is obviously don't grind your stuff up in advance and leave it to sit there, because you lose a lot of the flavors and the oils and whatever, right? So
True.
All right, so what are we going to start with first? I guess we're going to start with this guy here. This is Spent Grounds, and this is their. Now I got to take my glasses off because I can't see up close here. This is their the medium roast, and it is a chocolate green apple plum. So let's give that a try and see how that goes. That is good. It's not harsh by any means. Like,
I definitely can taste the green apple.
Mm-hmm. We try
just a little bit of a hint of chocolate there.
Now the cool thing, guys, to keep in mind, this stuff here is, essentially what's happening in the coffee industry is what happened to beer. We're getting into all these small roasters, independent roasters, creating some really funky stuff, which we're looking to bring to you guys to see and get some reviews on. It's kind of like what the craft brewery has done. They've dumped beer on its head. And I think that these guys are starting to do the same thing in coffee, and I think it's awesome that they're doing it. I like this one because it is definitely not, it doesn't have that, harshness to it. You're bitter, where you're like, oh man, like straight black coffee typically isn't something that I would drink. But this one actually is a very mellow flavor to it. It's not harsh.
It's a medium roast.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Definitely, there's a stronger roast flavor to it. Yeah. Right. It's not harsh by any means, but it's definitely, you can definitely taste how the roasting notches go from that sort of middle ground, and they kick it up where you get more of it. And what it actually reminds me of is speaking of beers, is how when they do the different beers and they roast the malts.
That's true.
Right? And then with the darker the roast, you get some crazy stuff happens with beer. You'll get beers that'll taste like chocolate and all these different notes come out of it, and that's all in the roasting of the malts. Same thing with these beans. Really cool. I like it.
So, do you taste a bit of that creme caramel in it?
It's subtle. I notice it actually at the front of my tongue into the middle of my tongue. It's a subtle note. So It's definitely not something where it jumps out and you go, okay, bang, it's caramel. But I get the more for me is the essence of the roasting really comes out nicely, right? It's very good though. How about you?
Yeah, I can taste a bit more sweetness in this one.
Yeah.
And it does have that deeper...
I'm going to go back to the other one just to see. It's interesting because they are dynamically different. Like there is no...
For sure.
Like this is this one, this is that one, but they're both equally flavorful. And again, even though we've gone to a dark roast with this one here, I'm not noticing it as harsh. There's
No,
sometimes,
it's not. It's quite smooth actually. I'm quite impressed.
And that's unusual because for me, oftentimes like a straight black coffee, and I'll have it, and it's got that note that it hits you, and you're just kind of like, oh, right, it's just too much. But that's really nice. It's very well balanced. So.
And it really depends on the quality of the bean, how it's been roasted, and how fresh it is.
I can't wait for dessert anymore. I'm going in.
All right, I'm going to try this one again.
Oh wow, that is good. That's a good latte. Now, one of the things you notice the difference, though, eh?
This is fruitier. I think it's got that more of a green apple.
It has this may sound like a silly way to explain it. It has what I call a rounded flavor to it.
Like you can taste the bit of the bitterness and almost like the sour apple.
You get a whole bunch of notes come at you.
Yeah, it's nice.
Right, it's rounded, but where the darker roast is, it sort of does this more to you, but it's not got a harshness to it. That's a big difference, right?
This one I find it has more dimension, and this one is pretty...
I'm going to tell you, this latte is killer. It's very good.
Have you had it?
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Here's the thing.
There's this one too.
I know, we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
Take this one here. Try taste. It's something that I wanted to add for you guys is that just personal taste and that typically, like I'm lactose intolerant, so for me having just regular dairy is not really a great option. So we go and we use a brand called Netrel. And it's a lactose reduced or whatever, but the flavor is still there, like you're having regular dairy, which is awesome. I love that. I typically would default to either a soy or coconut milk. Now, Paula has a very particular mindset about coconut milk in her lattes.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
I love it. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't notice it's like. Some people have said like it's like you're drinking suntan lotion, but I don't find that. I barely taste the coconut in there when I'm having my coffee. But
I do. It's very strong to me.
But what I can't handle, what's the one that I can't handle?
Could it be almond milk?
Almond milk. Can't stand it. I like almond milk. Almond milk's great in so many things you can use it for. But
actually, I have made you iced coffee with almond milk.
Because it's iced.
Yes.
Yeah, but the second you heat that stuff up, it just goes absolutely like bitter, scorched flavor to me. I don't like it at all. Can't handle it.
Yeah, it really changes the flavor of pretty much the
drink.
Almond milk itself and the
And it ruins the coffee.
It ruins it. Does, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, my two choices, at home here typically would be either the Netrel or the lactose-free, or the soy.
And the lactose-free really froths up really nicely. I'm quite amazed.
Very, very creamy, very smooth. A very good finish to it. It doesn't. It's not. There is absolutely zero bitters coming out of that.
Very nice.
Zero bitters. Let's go try this one here.
Alrighty. Let's put you over there.
Go ahead.
It's very nice.
Different again? Now, the thing that I can see instantly, obviously, is the darker, the cream on the top with the foam. So you can see it's obviously going to be a little bit darker roast. Again, just a really nice finish to it, right? Like, That's really nice. Wow.
And I did a double shot for each one.
Okay, so there's double shots. Okay. I thought when we were filming it looked like there was a lot of grounds going in there.
Yeah.
Like that thing's filling up.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to not make a mess when I use the espresso machine. But the espresso machine is pretty awesome. Like, I've really gotten used to it. I've had to fiddle a little bit adjusting the grind amount, the grind coarseness, and all those can affect how the espresso gets brewed and the flavor.
No, just as a quick tip, what do you have it set up for grind? What's it at?
On my machine, it's at about an 8.
An 8, okay.
And sometimes between brands, I have to adjust it a little bit. Yeah.
And obviously, the finer the grind, you're probably going to get a little bit more flavor out of them too, I would think, right?
It also depends how long the pour takes. There's all the science behind it. I'm not going to worry myself with the science. I did have to play around multiple times trying different settings and stuff because it will affect the flavor of the coffee. But
it's like anything though, right?
Yeah, and for some people, the drip coffee is the easiest, fastest, easier to clean and everything. But the espressos, they just have a richness to them that I really enjoy. I will do Americanos and have them straight, or I will add some sort of a milk. But yeah, the espressos definitely take more time. Some people will call it's a hobby coffee, but when you have a machine like the one we have, it's so, once you figure it out, it is so easy and so enjoyable. So like when I wake up in the morning, it's one of the first things I go and do.
And it is, it's there's something about it that is just so nice to have when you make it at home. Yeah. I have to say, it's even nicer when you go, hey, can you make me a latte?
He's the one that bought the machine, all excited when he first had it. Then after a few weeks, you have barely touched that thing. And we got that how many years ago?
My mama didn't raise stupid children. But you know what? On the other note is that it's a Breville machine. Sometimes they went by the name Sage as well. I think in Australia or whatever.
No, the UK.
The UK. So anyway, so they're priced. They're a little bit more expensive. However, if you don't want to go through all the process of learning how to dial it in and grind it and tamp it and then do all the pour and whatever, they're one machine. What was it called again? I'll put it in the description here. Give me a minute, I'll get that for you. But it was a really, really cool, and it was touch screen and all kinds of stuff on it. So thank you for tuning in today. This is the first segment of many to come for our Grounds for Divorce segment. Right? You're gonna be back?
We'll see.
And the whole idea behind this, the name obviously was a little tongue-in-cheek for what we've all been going through. But it's also, Paula, as you say, it's the separation. Say that again.
It's about the difference between the big branded companies that mass produce their coffee versus the coffees
of small coffee roasters, right?
Yeah, like you were talking about
craft breweries.
Yeah. It's small, smaller batches.
So divorcing from the mainstream and getting into
we're separating them.
Exactly. So anyways, guys, we will be back next week with another segment. It's going to be featuring Kicking Horse Coffee from up in Invermere, British Columbia.
That is correct.
And we are looking forward to bringing you that episode. And in the meantime, please don't forget to hit the like button, click the little subscribe button, and the reminder bell so you don't miss any future segments of all of our content. Lots of great stuff on the channel and more stuff constantly getting made for you. Thanks again for your time, and we'll catch you on the next episode.